What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 60th Pygame tutorial video from Syntex and for Bucky in the New Boston. Where we left off, we've got this turret, but we found that we have a slight issue, and that is, as we're moving the turret, if we attempt to move it higher than it can go or lower than it can go, we wind up with this nasty error that's going to cause a game crash. One, we could handle the error and just ignore it, or we could actually put the proper code in that's necessary here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll take, like for example, what we can do is we can change the turret position here, and then we can come right down here and we can just add a quick if and elif statement. So we could say if the current turret position is greater than 8, so that's after we've made this change. So if it's greater than 8, before we draw that tank, let's go ahead and come down here and then say current turret pose equals 8. Let's just set it as 8. So if it's anything greater than 8, we actually want it to stay at 8. And then we'll just add elif current turret position is less than 0. Again, this is after we've made the change. So if it's in the negatives, before we draw the tank, we'll just basically edit this. So then we'll just say current turret position equals 0. Easy enough. Then we'll go ahead and draw the tank, no problem, and the player will have no idea that they kept trying to break the rules. So there it is. Wait for it. So we hit play, and now we should be able to go all the way up and let go at any point all the way down and keep holding the key or whatever, and you should be totally fine. So that's it for moving the turret. So now you've got the turret that moves, you've got the tank that moves, and now you've got even a tank and a turret that moves. Like, how badass are you? So anyway, let's close out of that. And since that wasn't too long to fix, we'll go ahead and move into the next thing, and that is when we play this game, we are going to have two tanks, right? You've got the player tank and you've got an enemy tank, and you've got, some distance in between them, but we can move the tanks. So what most tank games are going to have is either some really volatile terrain, or they're going to have some sort of barrier in between the two tanks. Otherwise, you just turn the power up as high as it can go, aim it straight forward at the other tank, shoot, and like, what a boring game. So we're going to go ahead and add a barrier to our game. And to do that, we'll just scroll, let's see, game loop. We'll just put it, we'll put it right here. So underneath, it really does not matter. Let's just put it above the game loop and you should be fine. I don't know. Sometimes I put too much thought into where I want to slap my functions. But anyway, define barrier. And barrier for now, we'll just have 0 parameters. Soon we'll pass through some parameters. But for now, let's go ahead and just draw the barrier. So how might we want to draw this barrier? So there's a couple of things that are going to go into the barrier. We need to, first of all, we want the barrier to be somewhat random in its location on the screen, and then we also want like the size to be kind of random, and then we also want like basically the height needs to be random. That's about it. And then also the location. But if we put it too close to a tank, the tank won't actually be able to shoot over the barrier. So we want to make sure like that's not an issue either. So we'll just do barrier for now. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to say X location. So like, where is the barrier going to be located along the screen? X location equals, and basically we want this to be somewhere in the middle, right? So we're going to say display underscore width divided by 2, somewhere in the middle, but not always in the same spot. So display width divided by 2, and we're just going to encase that so it's its own little number there. And then we're going to say, basically we want to do plus or minus some degree. So I would say plus or minus 20% of the display width. So that'll give us a good amount of variance in the X location of this block. So we'll say plus, and I'm not sure if we have random or not. Let's scroll up to the top here. We do have random, so we'll just do plus, and then random dot rand int, it wants to be an integer, And then the random is anything negative 0.2 times the display width. So that's one number. Anything from negative 0.2 times display width all the way. And really, actually, that is... Originally I said 20%. Let's think about this. That would only be plus minus... Oh no, that's correct. Yeah, so it's starting in the middle, and it's going to be plus any random number, either 20%, negative 20% of display width, comma, and then or to negative 2 times display width. So like that. So that will be somewhere in the middle, plus or minus 20%. So it'll have about a 40%, on either side degree of variability. So that's the X location. In the next video, we'll be writing up the actual Y location of our barrier, and then we'll actually, get it to pop up for us. So stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching.